guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about setting boundaries in relationships and if it's necessary and if we do that. So, Kellen, you want to start?
You want me to start off?
Go
On
ahead.
what boundaries I set in
Yeah,
a
like,
relationship?
do you think it's important to
Yeah,
set
it's
boundaries?
definitely important. I feel like you need to set boundaries. Some people think if you don't set boundaries, you'll probably get cheated on. I feel like that's one of your theories that you would come up with. But I think it's important to set boundaries and to have trust.
Yeah. So, what do you think in outside relationships, just not in our relationship, like in friendships, family ships, whatever? Like, do you think it's important to set boundaries in all those type of relationships, or just in like intimate relationships?
Now, in all of them, every single
Well,
relationship.
because you mentioned cheating, so
Oh, well, I was just saying,
what kind of boundaries? Hold on. What kind of boundaries are set to prevent cheating?
like not leaving the house or
No, no.
trying to keep them around, or you want that phone or whatever it may be.
That's not even a boundary. I feel like
That
that's
is like a
just
boundary.
checking somebody's phone is a boundary. I feel like a boundary is like you don't do certain things out of respect for your partner. Like you don't cross those boundaries. Like
Yeah, but you could set those boundaries. It's setting boundaries,
well,
right?
you're what setting expectations. Is that what you're talking
No, setting boundaries.
about? Okay, setting boundaries. Okay, so how do you set boundaries outside of our relationship? How do you do that, or do you feel like I set the boundaries outside of the
I don't
relationship?
even mess with nobody like that. With my kids, I set boundaries.
Okay, so you don't feel like you set boundaries outside of our relationship, and I don't even know what boundaries we have in our relationship.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So what are you talking about?
But it is important though. I don't know. I can't explain them. You don't think we have any?
No, I do think we have boundaries. It's like okay, so if if a guy try and hug me, like it's like no, like get back. Like that's
Yeah,
a like I know not to cross those boundaries. Like
yeah.
speaking to like the opposite sex. Like hey, keep it over here. Like not to be flirtatious or anything. I feel like yes, that is like I don't want to cross those boundaries. But other than
Yeah.
that, checking somebody's phone and telling them you could be at home or stay at home is not really setting boundaries. It sounds kind of like controlling, but you go to the store, you do things. You don't even like to go places without me. So I don't know what you're talking about. So where you want to go?
Nobody's talking about going
Because no,
anywhere.
no, no. Because you said tell them to stay at the house. So I'm just like, where you want to go?
I'm saying that could be a boundary that I
That's kind
wasn't
of
saying
controlling.
specifically you.
I know, but ain't that kind of controlling and not a boundary? If you tell your partner they can't go somewhere, they can't leave the house,
Yeah,
that's
that would be controlling, but I'm saying certain people would consider it as a boundary.
a boundary being crossed. Like, say if
Yeah.
they were going where to like the
Like
club
you
or something.
can't go nowhere without me, like they setting those boundaries. Like I don't know, that's definitely like a trust thing. But
Yeah, that kind of still leads to controlling because I feel like a boundary is just something you don't cross. Like
okay, so the real question is boundaries in general controlling.
no, because I feel like outside of like relationships, I set firm boundaries. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I am
But
a
I'm saying
boundary
that because
setter.
certain couples will be like, oh, we talk to the, opposite sex, or, we're allowed to go out and have, guy friends or
Oh yeah.
girlfriends. Like,
Okay, yeah. So that's what you mean?
so I'm saying, like, do you feel like boundaries are controlling in general? Or do you feel like they're necessary because certain relationships that don't have those boundaries are the ones that ended up that didn't last?
I feel like that, like the scenarios are kind of crossing controlling and boundaries. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because not all boundaries are controlling. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like us, how we say, oh, we don't really go to the club like
Yeah.
that. That is, I feel like that's a boundary. Like, we both kind of agree to that compared to like, I want to go to the club with my girls and you talking about no you ain't going to the club like
No,
like that
yeah.
kind of comes off as controlling.
Yeah.
But it's like if we both agree to okay we're not going to have friends of the opposite sex because we just don't trust that. That's kind of creating a boundary. But it's like if you had a friend of the opposite sex and I'm just like, oh, you can't be talking to her, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and she was a friend before I even got with you. I feel like that's coming in and being controlling
Yeah.
compared to like us already coming into a relationship without like
Yeah, because it has to be fair. Like,
yeah.
if I'm allowed to talk to girls, then you're allowed to talk to guys, but it can't just be one sided.
Yeah.
So, do you feel boundaries are necessary to keep a relationship? That was my second question.
Yes, I do feel like boundaries, yeah, because some people will just do whatever they want to do. Like, you
Mm.
know, and they'll like, they won't respect you and they'll
Yeah.
think like, you know, it'll just, if you don't have some type of boundaries,
Or they
I
take
feel like it's a respect
advantage.
thing. Yeah, that's true. I feel like you
Like,
have to
certain
respect
people
your
will
partner.
take advantage and think that, oh, well, he lets me do this. You know, he lets this slide, so let me, go and do this now and see what he say about it. But that's
Yeah.
why you always have to have those boundaries set, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's true. So, I mean, so what do you think in friendships? You got friends or no? You be setting boundaries in friendships since
I
we already
don't
talked
have
about
no friends.
relationships?
I don't have no friends, but I think coming when you have a friendship, I think there does need to be boundaries set when they come around your partner, of course.
Yeah.
Like, not doing certain things. You know what I mean? Like, if it's your friend, they should mainly be around you. That's how I think about it. Like, if your friends were to come over, like, I feel like I should just, like, go in another room or something, like, because that's not my friend, you know?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel, though, but, I mean, that's not, like, anything against you. That's just how I feel.
I do feel like um outside of that you have boundaries with your friends that when it comes to the kids or the house,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you wouldn't want I feel like when you think of boundaries, don't just think of how they interact with your partner. It's just boundaries in general. Like
Yeah.
if your friend came over here and was trying to tear up the house, like, you
That's
know?
more like rules, though. Like, I got rules when you come to my house. Like, you just can't come over here and do whatever you want to. I mean, but I think
Mhm.
that's more just like a common knowledge. Like, don't go to someone else's house being disrespectful, being rude. So I feel like that's more like common knowledge compared to something where it's not as much known of. Like,
Mhm.
say if they're single and, we're, married and then they're coming over here and being disrespectful to you, then that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not as common.
So then you wouldn't like allow them to come over anymore.
Um, I mean, there's definitely consequences to certain actions, so I don't know where
So
it would go from there.
you
It
would set those
depends on the
boundaries.
situation. Like,
Kellen would set boundaries. I don't know why he's talking about depending. Like he's quick to say somebody can't come over here after they do something.
I don't, that's not even a boundary. That's more just like,
No,
you're gone.
no, yeah,
Like, you're
that's
done
setting a
for like
boundary.
that.
So you're setting a boundary. Like you did this, so yeah, you can't. You're not allowed to
That's like
really.
a consequence,
Okay,
though.
I don't know. I'm getting confused about boundaries now. Talking. Let me look it up. What boundaries mean? Let's see. What do boundaries mean? So we can clarify. Okay, a boundary. No. Wait, where's it at? Okay, boundaries in a relationship are the personal limits, rules, and expectations you set to define your emotional, physical, and mental space, ensuring your comfort, safety, and autonomy while clarifying how others can interact with you. Okay. So, physical, like type of boundaries is physical limits on personal space, touch, emotional rules about sharing feelings, communication, how and when you talk, including topics to avoid. Okay. Okay, so that's what I feel like. Are we getting confused with it or what? I don't think so. It's like our personal limits and rules. Yeah, they're rules.
Mm.
Okay. So, you come over here being disrespectful, then you can't come over here no more. You know?
Might just let them dogs out on
No,
you.
we're not letting the dogs out on nobody. But yeah, I do feel like, what is it when people, me personally, when people piss me off, yes, you get cut off. You're blocked. Like I'm setting my boundaries.
You quick to block, too.
Yes, I'm quick to block. Kaylin always tells me I'm like what'd you say?
What?
Is it like a silent blocker? Like I don't tell people that they
Oh,
blocked.
yeah.
Like I just kind of just
No, you don't really
like
tell them what they did. Like, you just kind of, like, cut things off right then and there. which is valid. Like if you don't want to mess with them no more, then I mean it's valid to me.
Yeah, I feel like I do have to set boundaries. Well, me personally, because I feel like I've dealt with more friendships and like family more than like he does. Like he is kind of just to himself and more involved with me and the kids and stuff. So I feel like friendships, I do be having to set boundaries because it's just too much. Like people just don't respect me or respect my
Mm.
relationship or respect what I got going on. So I have to set those boundaries. Same with family. Family is more like they kind of tell you what to do or treat you a certain way. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
I have to set those boundaries too.
thinking that you too young,
Yeah.
and they're old, so you can't really have no boundaries with them, which is BS.
Yeah, that is true. I do feel like it is important to set those boundaries because it gives you peace. I feel like I have a lot of peace once I set the boundaries. Like sometimes I go back and forth if I should set the boundaries or not because my boundaries is
I
cut,
feel
cut,
like
cut.
the boundaries come a lot bigger with family when kids are involved,
Oh, I say that.
though, because they're just like a bigger, aspect to everything. Like everybody wants control over the kids, or like they want the kids, to be their favorite and stuff. Like
Yeah, that is
it's
true.
always something.
That is true. So yeah, we definitely. Well, I feel like I set more boundaries than Kellen. Kellen, he's not a boundary setter when
Okay.
it comes to
I
family
feel like
though.
with the kids, I definitely set more boundaries with the kids
You set more boundaries in
compared to
this household.
you.
Like he gonna set boundaries in this household, but he ain't gonna set boundaries with nobody else. So then I have to enforce the boundary setting
I
outside
don't
of the
even.
household.
We really don't even mess with people like that, but
Ooh,
yeah, I guess.
who you?
I said, we don't really mess
Kellen,
with
I
people
feel
like
like
that.
we definitely like so we weren't big on friends like that. But I mean, I've had friends like he's had like one or two maybe good friends when we were younger, and as we got older, like my friends definitely dwindled down to the point and his he only like one or two. And then he don't have no friends really.
Yeah.
And all he hang out was really my brother and my cousins whenever they come around. Those like his only friends for real. Uh,
And that's rarely.
yeah, and that's rare.
I like
So,
to be to myself though. I don't know. That's just how I am. Like
yeah. So then
it's
look,
not because anybody crossed any boundaries or anything. That's just how I am. Like
I feel like people do cross boundaries, but you don't like to
I was
like I
talking
said.
about friendships. It wasn't on those stuff like they crossing
Well, yeah,
boundaries.
Cameron, yeah, him and his friends they used to do crazy stuff. I feel like yeah, he kind of just drifted away from that. Maybe because he had a family and stuff. But it's like as time went on, we had friends, and then the friends was cut off slowly. Especially me, because I had most of the friends, and you were friends with the boyfriends or would hang out with the boyfriends.
Uh-huh.
And then like me and the friend would get into it, and then I cut them off because they was doing some crazy stuff or some disrespectful stuff or some stuff I didn't like doing. Then it was like the past recent years, what 2 to 3 years, we were more involved with family only. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was more family only, and then the family started doing stuff I didn't really like, and I feel like it was just a lack of respect. So then cutting them off had to start enforcing those boundaries because I feel like boundaries are people are crossing boundaries when me and my husband are arguing about it a lot.
Mm.
Like every time we go around you or you leave and we arguing, it's like I have to cut you off or we have to limit how much we go around
Yeah.
those people because it's just like it's gonna
Well,
ruin
it's
our
toxic.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's even with friends too. We've had friends that will come over, do certain things, and when they leave, me and him arguing, it's
Uh-huh.
just like arguing really bad.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Well, that's why those boundaries are necessary because like you said, we arguing because of family, and we not with them. It's me and her. So
yeah.
or me and you. But
But even with friends though, I feel like some people don't like if you don't tell them the boundaries, they don't really know that they're crossing them.
yeah.
Like with one of my friends, like she would come over doing certain things and it's just like she didn't know she was crossing those boundaries, but I felt like the boundaries were being crossed. So then it caused me and my husband to argue and it's just like, okay, because some people are just unaware of the things that they do, or they're very aware and they don't care about what they do. So, I mean, you don't really have to tell people your whole list of boundaries, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like you just see how,
Sometimes you might think though, like certain things are just off limits and like they wouldn't do that type of stuff, you know, until it actually happens and you're like, whoa, whoa.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
how would you not know not to be doing stuff like that?
Yeah.
But
You know, it's like, I feel like I don't really know if this is another boundary, but it's like I had another friend. It's like she kind of just care about herself and her child. And I feel like she was definitely just unaware of how inconsiderate she is.
uh,
So I definitely have to set boundaries or had to set boundaries with that too, because it's like, why you being inconsiderate of others, you know, if we're supposed to be friends. So I don't know, but I do. All I know is I ain't gonna list out every little thing. Just
mm,
know that you got so many times to do something, and I'm gonna set them boundaries to give me peace because I don't want to be dealing
or
with that.
give us peace, so we
Yeah,
be sitting up arguing about other people.
give us peace. Yeah, but I feel like the main thing we argued about was, I feel like for years was always really family. Like maybe once or twice about friends, like maybe about one or two friends, really bad. Maybe three friends. But I feel like most of the time it's just more about like family, you know? So, but once the boundaries are set, it's peaceful. I feel like once we set those
Yeah.
boundaries, our life has been more peaceful.
I feel
Like we
like
don't
when we
argue.
are more secluded, we argue the least.
Yeah.
Like the more you're involved with other people, it's just like, you know, the chance of something happening or, you know, somebody crossing those boundaries that, you know, you have set or they most people they understand and they know, you know, the boundaries without it even being said. Like, you know, I know not to do certain things, you know, with say if I go to somebody else's house or, you know, we go to an event or something, I know what boundaries not to cross, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just kind of like common knowledge. So,
But that's what I was saying. Some people just are unaware or like
or they just
don't.
need to be told.
Yeah, or they just don't care even if you tell them. It's just like I feel like me and Kaylin have a lot of, like, we operate our relationship very different and a lot of people don't understand it nor do they kind of respect it. And so they do tend to cross those boundaries, which is when, you know, you got to get cut off because we ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that. I'm gonna cut you off and it's going to be enforced with a
Yeah.
stamp with a gold seal on it. Presidential.
I think they get you. You said it a couple times already.
I'm
I
just
don't know,
saying.
but the main question was, you know, was boundaries necessary, and I think it is. So
Yes, boundaries are necessary. You think it is, but you don't set them. That's why. That's why.
I don't know. I meant more relationship wise, like
Yeah.
me and you wise, marriage,
So
relationship, family. I say you can deal with them if you want to. When you're older and you move out, you don't have to deal with them if
okay,
you don't want to.
friends,
So friends, I mean, it's the same thing. You don't have
neighbors
to deal
too.
with nobody.
Neighbors. I had
Oh,
to set. I had
neighbors
to
is
set boundaries
different
with the
because
neighbor.
you live next to them, so that's different.
Yeah, I had to set boundary with the
I
neighbor
know
too a
we
couple
literally in the
times.
backyard cussing each other out like
Yeah,
that's
it's like, you know, some
that's
neighbors
crazy.
be crossing boundaries. It's
Yeah.
just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So
You know,
now,
it's like nice, but it's kind of like, you know, why are you on my property at the same time? Like, why are you cutting my yard without asking me first? You know, it's nice, but it's, you know, how you know I wanted to cut that low? You know,
exactly. Not even that. Hold on, Zamar, get away from that baby. Like she over here picking him up all in his face. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up that we can be finished. Anyway, yeah, hold on. The neighbors crossing the boundaries is when you do stuff to people's animals, you know,
yeah.
and then you ask if we still cool.
And
No, we not cool. You're cut
then
off.
try to wave at us and everything.
Exactly. So it's like we have to set those boundaries too with the neighbors because you know they was doing too much and now the boundaries are set. Now it's more peaceful. We act like we don't even know them. You know, but I feel like some people get too comfortable doing stuff after you tell them not to, then you do have to
Right.
cut them off. So I
And
feel
the
like
fact we could have got him arrested and we chose not to,
yes, I'm telling y'all, I'm a strict boundary setter.
we did the right, you know. I mean, it was a good deed for him,
Yeah.
but,
I feel like
you
setting
know, we
boundaries
looked
at
out
work
for
too,
him.
because I've had to set boundaries with some coworkers. Like
Yeah,
what are we
yeah.
talking about? Like, like what are you doing?
That's why I think it's just, I don't know, work. I think it's just best to stay to yourself.
Well, I feel
Like
like
it really is.
working.
Unless you have to work with somebody, then that's different. But if you could work by yourself, to yourself, like just do what you got to do and clock in, do what you got to do, and clock out, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like working remotely for me, since I'm like, admin and I do have to work with the other admins. So there's like no just working by yourself most of the time. A lot of times it's collaboration, working with supervisors and stuff like that. So I do feel like I have to set boundaries with certain coworkers because it's too much. Like I feel like in every aspect or every relationship of your life, it is important to set those boundaries and don't feel guilty about it. Set them, and I promise you, you're going to have a peaceful life. I promise. Even if it's just you by yourself in a little box, or you and your family in a little box, or you and your dog. Just set the
Yeah,
boundaries. You're going to have so much peace. So, boundaries are necessary.
yeah.
So, I don't know if we stayed on topic again, guys. It's going to be all
I
over the
mean, we
place.
definitely been talking about boundaries the whole time.
Yeah. This is like one of my favorite topics.
I know. I bet it is.
Come on.
I think your next biggest topic would be probably like trust or something.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, comment down below what do you think about boundaries and if they're necessary. Yep, and we're out. We'll be back with another video. You done?
Then what?
Okay. Now